today we are we're just going to play with, where is it? Give me 2 seconds. Just need to find the Apple Pencil, which has gone walkabouts. Yeah, but basically I'm going to be playing with this little scene. If you want to, if anybody wants to share their project as well, whatever you might be working on, I am all ears. Give me 2 seconds to find what I'm looking for. Oops. There we go. It was in the pot of pencils behind my desk and I knocked it all over as the camera is very delicately balanced on. Okay, let me move a few things out of the way. So if you did manage to join the rigging live stream yesterday, thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it was an interesting one. We've kind of got to a good point with it. It's getting a bit more spicy now. So I haven't moved this one on at all since last week. This is where it is. This is my little project for myself, so let's remind myself where I'm at. One of the things about working on the iPad is you're obviously like short on screen real estate, as they'd say, so I have to remind myself what I'm looking at, turning things off. I tend to keep the clean one on and then I can see. Okay, so this is where this was it. I remember this weird character goes wing. Let's try and we're cleaning this up. If you've got like fat fingers, or you're just a human adult, let's be honest, then it can be a bit tricky controlling the just get the camera slightly more on me. Trying not to destroy everything in the process. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to really lower this visibility of this tie down. So in fact, don't need onion skin on. Just working out what I can see there. Okay. It's kind of a complicated looking tie down. Well, it's not a tie down, it's a ruff, let's be honest. So I'm just gonna, I was really messing around with this last time, trying to work out what was going on. I think this is the time when you get like, you're kind of tempted to rush a little bit at this point. Just trying to remember what I was trying to do with this. Ah, there are the lips. So because let's be honest, this has gone very loose. It's a real mess. So what I'll do is, like, I'll just try and get this will become a tie down because I need to do this. There we go. 2-finger tap, copy, in fact, cut, and then we will go to the roughs. And we'll hide these. See, this is an old rough, it's old timing, so it's kind of a bit no good. I do really like Calipeg though. I think it's a nice app. I wonder if I can just, oh yeah, that's handy. I can just drag that down. Oops. The only thing that you find, sorry, the only thing you find with apps on like an iPad or something compared to on a computer is they're not quite as robust for things like when you're dragging things. They're never quite as, I feel like, tested as intensely, because people don't use them for work as much. I mean, that's changing obviously, but things like Procreate has been used really heavily, but that's just single images. And then Procreate Dreams shows, because it's the first version, for a lot of people felt like it fell a little bit short. An animation is like a still image multiplied many times, so there's lots of different scenarios that can happen. So I've got my little thing here. Then I'm going to go in. I've got my tie downs turned on. It still says I have something there. I do still have something there. So we are just going to cut that. Wicked. That'll do. Okay. And now let's see if we can start tie this down a little bit. So you can change, when you turn on onion skin, you can change which frames are being onion skin. So I can adjust the opacity of this one. And you can disable it. I'm not quite sure if that's like next available frame, but okay. Let's just crack on. Too much fiddling around, trying to figure out the process. Sorry, there we go. Okay. You can use these like this drag flip function, which is pretty cool. So I'm trying to get this like squash feel of the main shape. What's everybody working on at the moment? Give me your updates, creative projects. Anybody? Anything you'd love to make if you had the time? Pablo says, "Hi everyone. At the moment, I'm working on my regular studio job instead of my silly stories." Yeah, well, I mean, good for you. Actually, hi as well, by the way. Well done for holding down a studio job at the moment. That's an achievement in itself. I think, like a lot of people, I've said this before, but the idea of having like making your own stuff, it's always seems like a luxury, and it is. It's very rare. If you were to put it into percentages, the amount of people that actually get to make their own projects, get creative control, and you know get to make a living from it. So I think it's important to remember that. I think sometimes nowadays there's a potentially a little bit of a expectation that that's something that can happen, whereas it's quite a relatively recent development in terms of society. Not saying art isn't valid, it's just society's never really regarded it as worth anything in terms of finance. Um, you know, it's a funny one. We tend to like regard art and things with high value, but then we don't associate the things of high value in our society with that. So, like for example, financial gain. Like we'll pay footballers or sports people large sums of money. Well, we won't, but we accept that they should receive a lot for a form of creativity. But then when you say to artists if they're super famous, you kind of accept it like musicians. But then it's like visual artists. We don't really associate that in the same respect. It's kind of like I guess it's like the individual, the celebrity status, which for a lot of people seems like an elusive idea, I guess. But just most artists don't want to be paid millions. They just want to earn a normal living. Just want to be paid like to make stuff, and yet we prefer to spend it on killing each other, I guess. But that is the way we are. So for me, it's about like finding the solace in just making the stuff, kind of having fun with it, and not expecting anything really from it. And then if something nice comes from it, brill. But I'm not doing these sessions to make millions. I would love this sort of thing to make people feel like they can hang out a little bit. I'm working from a bedroom right now. I was working from a shared space. I went to here because it's like saves a bit of money on things, a bit easier looking after a toddler and so on. And I mean, he's in nursery, by the way. He's not that quiet. But it's just it still makes me want to make stuff. I still want to do things, and I still want that feeling of I loved my time when I used to be in studios more. That feeling of the studio environment. Um, so I don't see why, especially post COVID, why we can't get that feeling when people are hanging out and making stuff. And when I get the music working, maybe next week. I always have technical problems. I'm just not very good at it, I guess. But I will figure it out. But I've made a lovely little playlist that I'm going to post on YouTube as well, which is like a stream playlist. It's royalty free, so it's cleared and everything. And it's maybe something. It's like one of those things you can put on in the background. This week I put some like electro funk from the 80s kind of feel into it, and then there's a little bit of like summary music in there. Anyway, you'll have to have a listen. But what was I saying? Yeah, about people hanging out together and just, rather than just on your own sort of thing. Pablo, for the record of people who can't see it, has said, I've been thinking recently my current contract ends soon and I face the question, should I take on another job or should I take a solid gap? I mean, I can't advise you to turn down paying work to pursue a creative project. I've seen the stuff that you've worked on, and Pablo's one of the members of my animation academy and has been part of one of the courses. And we did one called The Animator's Way, which was like a riff off The Artist's Way, but also The Animator's Workshop, which was the second iteration. And that was just kind of a support system for people making artwork. So everybody's making a project and you kind of check in once a week and you work on it. So Pablo's stuff is really cool. He's got a great project idea, but from what I've seen, it's just so hard to say if, like, you almost are not even in control of if somebody gives you money to make it, because the people who are making those decisions aren't necessarily always the most educated with the creative side of things. Like what I don't know, it sounds really derogatory. I mean, like, in terms of they're getting heat from the people running these companies who are like, we need to, we're in a recession or whatever else, and we need to save money, and we're not making. So they get told things that they're acting upon, and they're not making decisions in the same way you would, or a director or somebody creative would. So yes, I think for me it's about life balance. Like, you've got to accept that you're going to need to work. But if the dream is being able to go, like, I don't just want to be grinding something that I'm not that interested in. So it's about knowing when you can take a gap or a break and have, give it to yourself, like gift yourself that and say, right, I'm going to take 2 months off or 3 months off or a month off or whatever it is, 2 weeks, I don't know. But whatever that time is, it could be longer. It depends on your circumstance, but maybe you can do little bits of work, and then you can say, I don't know, say it's like 2 days a week and it's part time. Then you go, well, do you know what? Uh, I'd like to kind of be working on my own project for. Sorry, getting confused with what I'm doing. We'll work on my own project for this amount of time. So maybe if it's 2 days and then another 2 days on your own project, that would work. Or if you are going to take a gap, be motivated and maybe do a little schedule and say, right, I'm going to work on some stuff. I mean, now you don't have to work. You can, or on your fun projects. But I think you can take downtime. You can have time off. Split it. It needs a little structure to make it not feel endless, and so you don't have an existential crisis of going, I don't really want to do this job, but then I don't know what to do, and I feel like I've got too much to do. I've been there. It's not easy. So yeah, I would say if you can afford to take a little break, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I can't tell you to do it, but I would advise it's good for the soul, and you will be very motivated. You will be very motivated if you do take a said break. So can be helpful. Some animation work. Some people are really lucky and they get lots of it, but maybe they're in a studio where it's turning out quite commercial stuff. And if that's not like scratching the itch of the creative side of things, I keep going to press Control C on my keyboard. Then I think like that's another great example of, okay, so my work really is work. It's not creatively fulfilling me, and therefore you need to find it somewhere else. I used to do a kitchen job years ago when I was in between my years of university, and it was not that enjoyable. Let's put it that way. But I have never been more motivated from that job to do, to do things creatively and make it work. And so it can be a good thing to have a job that's not associated. You just need to make sure you've got the life balance. I think the biggest problem is when people take something for the money rather than any of the other considerations, as though the money and getting paid loads is going to solve things for you, and you just get yourself into more debt. Because when we're talking money, it's never a big money. Like even if you think it is big money, it's like realistically, if you live in Western society, Ireland, UK, I don't know, the US, it's big money is like we're not even in the bracket of big money. It's never like we have no cares at all, won the lottery kind of money. It still comes with, okay, I'm earning loads, so I can now get a bigger rent or a higher mortgage or a bigger property or a car lease. It's going to, you just become accustomed to the money that you're earning and you just have more outgoings. So, um, it's kind of nice to get used to living within your means and finding your joy from the inside, the intrinsic stuff, rather than external validation. If you take that money call, don't get me wrong, it's great if you can do it. Lovely, but it tends to get boring fast. I think if you earn a lot of cash and you aren't like, you know, really into what you're doing. I can't remember what I was doing with this mouth, but yeah. And if it is just money, let's be clear about it. It's a very long-winded answer, sorry, but some food for thought. So right now I'm doing this kind of like second pass of the rough. I've done my main working out on that real rough, which was originally in the tie down, and it's meaning I don't have to think about the volumes quite so much, just refining stuff, trying to be a bit cleaner. Still not a massive fan of drawing on the iPad's lovely, it's amazing, but it's drawing on a screen, still not really. Nothing beats paper. Maybe I just haven't done it enough, but I was drawing on paper for this animation demo last week when this was going to be on. And I had like a webcam set up. This one here, actually, I had it set up over my drawing desk, and it was for kids. So like, well, family event. So there's little kids come in and having a look, and it's all very wholesome, and everyone getting very excited about animation. And yeah, it's just so nice to draw on paper for a change, flipping paper, rolling the drawings, and so on. So that mouth really pings out over there, so I need to make it feel like it sort of yo-yos back here. Boom, boom, boom. Like I want it to kind of rattle across, and I'm just going to change this one now too. Don't know what it's like in your part of the world, whoever is watching, but autumn feels like it's sort of coming here, or fall for the Americans. It's what are we, like 20th of August today, but yeah, it definitely feels like it's getting there. It felt a little bit. I mean, we've had quite a nice summer here in the UK, but it felt a little bit chilly and not cold, but had to wear a thin coat, a thin waterproof, because it was raining a bit. But yeah, the leaves are starting to change. I've got this app on my phone that mimics like actual film for your camera, and I've been taking some like black and white pictures, which you will have seen the picture of my dog Wilson, who's sleeping over there in the corner, and it's kind of reversed camera. Oh yeah, my camera's flipped. But yeah, it's nice. I don't mind autumn. It's a Lovely time of year. Right, cool. Let's try and clean this thing. Clean it up. And so we turn on the clean layer. Turn off roughs. Nothing on there. Cool. And we'll turn the visibility of that right down. I'm gonna probably try and tidy this one up. Just gonna quickly find some reference where I'm like, that big chunky 218. I need to make sure this slug still looks similar to the one I drew earlier on. I don't have a model sheet. It's a little slimmer on the top there. Eyes are pretty close, a little thinner on the little stems. Great, that'll do. This is one of the best things about doing your own project. You kind of make your own rules up. Like, you know, it's for fun. As long as it looks like the same character. Nobody cares. It's amazing like how much people get pedantic about the details, and if it's correct for you as an artist and you want to make sure that's right, then good for you. But if you watch like a series like The Simpsons and you're just watching it and you're like, this is nothing at all, it's not on model. Let's just pull that in, remind myself. It's a bit more like that. Cool. So if you've just joined, I did attempt some music earlier on. Failed miserably. I made a playlist, cleared it with the rights to stream it. But to no avail. So I will post that little playlist. Let's we'll double check the arms now. A bit chunkier there, but that, I remember drawing that frame a bit fat. Oh, the arms are chunky, blimey. So we'll go back on, oh no, just erase it. If anybody's in Manchester, it's a bit of a long shot, throwing it out there to the internet. But if you are watching this and you're based in the northwest of the UK, I am doing, or Manchester, I'm doing a live drawing session tonight. I'm hosting it at Stretford Public Hall, Zone 2-3 in Manchester's tram. If you want to come down, it's £10 for a ticket. And it's in this really cool ballroom, which it's very nice. And there's a bar, snacks. It's a good model tonight. I mean, they're always good models, but she's a very good professional model. She's been around doing it for a little while. If anybody's interested in traditional animation, what's that? Oh, yeah, that's cool. We have a 2D animation cleanup and in-betweening course with a very talented tutor, and that is running from 22nd of September, although it technically starts like on the Wednesday, but you get a head start. Yeah, it's nearly full, so if you want to join, because I'm kind of at the behest of when the tutors want to run the course. So Danny's Moho rigging course, which has just filled up, is scheduled, I think, to run again in January 2026. But we might, if I can persuade her, don't know if she's listening, to do a smaller run because we've got quite a lot of interest. People would like to, just like 5, 6 people in autumn. But oh dear, this isn't fun. Let's try and draw that again. But yeah, so the cleanup course will probably run again. It's probably because of Christmas and holiday season and everything, probably will be the start of 2026. So if you want to join in, it's a good time. And you get 4 weeks of feedback from her. So Harriet Buckley is the tutor. She's very good. She was, fun fact, my first professional animation studio job, immediate boss. She was in charge of cleanup on Tutors, le film, and just after The Illusionist. She was top of her game then because just doing loads of cleanup on that film. So yeah, really cool. Bit of a dying art form, but amazing to. It's kind of had a resurgence, because of things like Procreate as well. So many people creating their own artwork, but then you start to realize how important the skills are to create good line work. Like she'd look at this and laugh at what I'm doing because feathering the line and all this kind of thing. We used to have special different pencils to draw different parts of the figure and get a different line weight, and yeah, it was so precise. I can remember going for my test for that job up in Dundee. It was a 2-day test, and I can remember being like, I don't. She showed me 2 drawings that were, one was correct and one had problems on it, and I can remember looking at the one with problems and being like, I don't know the difference. It was like the world's hardest spot the difference. It was so tough. But then I'd been there a month or so and maybe 6 weeks, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I get it now. I found one of my drawings from that film. I was like, ah, so much better at drawing back then. I was on it. It's like anything, you just kind of get used to it and you warm up and your eye gets trained, and it's really fun. And also, we used to listen to lots of Adam and Joe podcasts, pass them around as MP3s or CDs. Showing my age slightly with that, but and you just hear people like bursting out, like trying to stifle laughter across the room. It was very silly. If you've never heard of Adam and Joe, it's Adam Buxton, Joe Cornish. Joe Cornish is now like a Hollywood director. He's directed Sing and Attack the Block and Son of Rambo. Maybe some of those you don't know. You'll know Sing though, and Sing too. But he was used to do a show on Channel 4 with Adam Buxton, who is like a comedian and writes books, moans a bit. He's he's a bit of a person who you'd know if you lived in the UK, but maybe not anywhere else. But they had a show, and especially when they're in their 20s, 30s, they did something on Channel 4 and then radio shows, and there's lots of recordings of it. It's very certain kind of humor, but I think it's very funny. I really like the XFM episodes. They do take the mick out of certain directors because obviously Joe's big into his films. And you'll get like guest appearances from Garth Jennings as well, and it's really good. Adam and Joe show. Okay, so drawn 1. Let's see, it feels wrong, but let's have a look. Let's check that. In fact, let's make our life easier. Okay, and then copy. Oh man, that's miles off. Yeesh. Where were we just before? We were kind of a bit fatter. The head's got fatter. Maybe I'm going to use this one as a reference. Oh no, that's in a loop. I get a little bit scared of loops when I see them because they are. I don't like pasting into them just in case. Right, let's paste this in here. Okay. Okay, that's not a great drawing, but let's see what we can do. The main thing that's throwing me here is the head. But those, I think what I did on this one before, let's fix it if we can. These eyes feel too far apart. They are further apart anyway when the hat is there. The hat doesn't come in front, does it? No, it's quite narrow. Oh, it's the battle. The battle. So let's just scrap these. I do love zooming in. I know it sounds really basic, but being able to zoom in on something when you're used to drawing on paper is a real luxury. But then when you're not used to drawing on paper, you really miss it, especially if your eyesight's like, or you're drawing something really small. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. Same with Control Z, Control Z. Just desperately want to be able to do that. Cool. So I'm just going to instead think about maybe where. I think this would probably. Always a lot easier to draw with the curve of your wrist on the, like, curving against the wrist, sort of holding it, which is why you should always rotate. Well, I think you should anyway. Makes life a million times easier. So I think Procreate Dreams is getting the lasso tool. Oops. Oops. Go away. There we go. Yeah, that'd be cool. I do believe there's plenty of room for lots of animation apps and things. People tend to get fixated by software as though it's some sort of magic bullet that's just going to make life all of a sudden a million times easier for you. And it's not. Oops, didn't want to do that. Don't get me wrong, I am one of those people sometimes, definitely more when I was younger. I'd be like, oh yeah, this is going to do this. And nowadays, I know I don't have the time to learn new things. Well, within reason. There's something really nice about just like drawing, erasing, drawing, erasing, coloring. You know, it's like a very simple process. Don't like that. It's getting too close to the thing, the eye. I'll create this little backup for a second. Don't want to lose all the work. Our 7 people, thank you for joining. And 1 thumb up. I appreciate you, whoever gave me the thumbs up. Honestly, the fact that anybody joins is awesome. I'm very happy that people join. There's no expectation, just an experiment. Just want to create a nice little fun space for people to come and hang out a little bit, get in there with the technology as well. Got a better microphone sorted out. We have hopefully some sound from next week. You'll see my jazzy setup. Or somebody else give me a thumbs up. I love that. Thank you. I don't really understand the thumbs up system in YouTube. I guess it's like a like, but on a live stream, it's bizarre. It's just like I don't know. It's hard anyway to focus on what's going on with the people. And yeah, let me show you this funky little thing that you can do. So I also I've got a holding screen which goes like this. Oh, very nice. So that's in case I need to go away or the dog is barking like a lunatic and I have to go and sort something out. So we've got a few bits coming in there gradually. By the way, if anybody's interested, this is a Nottingham Forest shirt I'm wearing today. It's a training top, but it's football season started here. I'm not a big football fan personally, as in don't mind watching it, but I don't really follow along. I'm generally terrible at following along with sport. But Forest did pretty good last season, so makes life much more palatable. Would love to do an animation for Forest. Little hand-drawn thing. Thinking about going back into doing a bit more 2D work and stuff. Wow, that is a very wobbly line that I have drawn there. Yeah, thinking of doing a bit more of that. Just because I want to trying to make some TV stuff for kids, but a bit 2D practice never hurts. Cool, so I've got this is a cleaned up thing now. So now I can use this, pop the onion skin on, turn it on the clean layer, turn this one off, and then turn the next one on. Ta-da! And that's going to make life easier. So it's got quite advanced onion skinning capability. You can say, oh yeah, I want to see this one and don't want to see that frame. It's quite manual how you have to do it, but definitely worth it. If anybody is using Calipeg, they do like a monthly challenge, which I love a challenge, sucker for a challenge, never do them generally. I never have time, but I do think it's probably one of the easiest ways to get yourself back into something. And if you're learning new software, you want to start a project where you're like, oh, I want to start animating again, but I don't know where to start. Do a little challenge. They're always like quite simple and easy to get going with. And Calipeg do one, which you don't obviously have to use a software to take part in. You can just take their prompt, and I think their prompt is dinosaurs, and it's 15 seconds or less. And then Danny Abram, our Moho tutor, she has done a year of animation prompts, which you can find if you search for Moho Gal, Gal, on YouTube, you'll see her there, and then on her Instagram is where she posts the prompts and things. Again, it's nice to. It's kind of like with Inktober, but just if you animate every week, even something really short, which if you have a tablet is very achievable. I mean, actually, I'm going real old school at the moment because I have some blank flip books to fill in. So there's 3 in there. They were like £5 on Amazon. Oh, boo, Amazon. But yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't get them anywhere else. And yeah, I'm going to try and do some. They're nice, like thick flip books. I did get them for this demo I was doing the other day. I do try and buy things from. Now, I'd love to buy them from a store. If there was a store that sold stationery and things, would have happily probably paid like £9 for them instead of 5. But I feel like nowadays all those kind of places have disappeared. It's a little bit of a shame because yeah, you're often left with like, oh, I guess I'll have to use Amazon. It's like the only place you can buy things. Well, find everything, I guess. It's not even that cheap anymore, is it? Let's be honest. It used to be like mega cheap for stuff, but if anybody has a good source for blank flip books, feel free to share. So this is a weird squash frame because nothing is quite as it seems. Cool, that'll do. Bizarre hand going on here. That will not do, Adam. Oh, what am I doing? That's why it doesn't work, because that wouldn't be in front of this. Got to be careful with that complexity in there. Right, that'll do, because then we're going to go. When was the last time you did any hand-drawn animation? Anybody who wants to answer a question, that's a good one for you. Because I know some people will be like, "Oh, yeah, but I'm not good enough," or that's not my strength. But it should be just fun, It could be a stick figure, paper flip book, maybe. So we're actually coming up on the hour mark here. So it's gone nice and quick today. Actually, it's pretty quick. Yeah, if you've got any, if you want to throw anything in, check in, tell me where you're at. Would be happy to hear it. This is a fun one. Look at this frame. So let's see. Whoop, whoop. So the eye is like almost pulling back here. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. I have no idea what I've done there. Right. Oh, cool. Fixed it. Look at me. Total disregard for the rules. Goes to 3 fingers. Oh, wicked. Last week, Pablo says, corners of a magazine trying to entertain my niece. Wow, that's good stuff. Yeah, I mean, the next generation flip books, they are so good. I was showing these kids Zoe tropes, the little spin around things with little slits in the side. They are cool. It's fun to see like a 5-year-old and their face lights up. It's like, oh wow, yeah, that's how it's made. Really crazy. Whoop. Maybe we can have a bit of fun with this mouth. It's a bit too thin. Now, you see how that mouth is going up and then it goes across? So I kind of need to think about this a little bit. I could add a frame, probably add an in-between in here because the body and the head is also going up. I'm not sure about this little bit here either. So let's take that out. Because I kind of need to make sure that is also still not working. I need to make sure it carries across. So and because there's so many things going up there, but I kind of like that lag. Like imagine it's a big heave kind of thing to there, and then it goes wada bada bang like really fast. So that could be almost like it's got stuck, like his head has got lots of, or the hat almost is really weighty. I'm going to try for that, and that's not me saying it's going to work necessarily. It's just my feeling of like sort of the timing. Say to anybody who's not sure about animating, or this is where the practice thing comes in, because it's just all practice, because with more practice you get better at understanding your own ideas and timing. It's why I really think like listening to music without, it doesn't have any words in, like classical or other things. I really like to just listen to that whilst drawing, but nothing too technical, because it can really help you think about like how things would move. Like I have this thing where when I listen to music, I can really hear or see visual stuff. With it, like I just get an instant link. There's no delay. If it's not for everything, but I'll be listening to some music and I'll be like, oh, this is like a falling leaf. This is a park and it's like 6 a.m. autumn, sort of England, and there's dew on the field. It's like a real quick image association, I guess. And I used to think everybody had that, but apparently not. And so I tend to draw on that a lot when I listen to music. I'll try and find something that's similar if I'm animating, go a little bit crazy with it and kind of listen to it on repeat so I can get into it. But that doesn't really apply to series animation because the dialogue is my timing thing and it's much more staccato and chopped up and so on. So it's more when I'm going straight ahead and I'm getting ideas for a project or a short film. But it's quite exhausting as well. It uses a lot of energy to do that. So I tend to get a bit nervous about doing it. Wonder what the pen settings are. Smoothing 3. Just go to 5 here. Just see if I can make my life a little easier because I'm getting struggling with this pen smoothing. Cool. Now let's get these eyes right because they've got to come down forward. I think I'll probably, with the eyes, I think I'll try and go something like they're here. So maybe we could go here. There. So we ding ding. This one needs to go even more. Cross. Probably need an overshoot there as well. Gonna get this one equal amounts. No, that's too much because the silhouette is too big. Okay, we'll do an overshoot. That'll do. Off for that one, on for this one. Turn that one right down. Boop, boop, boop. Oops. What goes on here? One of the tie downs. There we go. So I will end this stream very shortly, but thank you everybody who's joined. It's been fun, and thanks for listening to me rabbit on. If you're not familiar with the term rabbit on, it just means chat rubbish. Well, not necessarily rubbish. I'll leave you with this thought as well. I saw this cool thing the other day. It's not really a thought. It's just something that I thought was cool. Is somebody was doing like a sort of a sketching course, like an excursion, like a tour that you could join. But they do virtual and in person. So using things like Google Maps and Street View, you can go on like a sketching tour of a town, and I think they guide you through it, and they found the spaces to go. and maybe they tell you a little bit about their history or something. I'm not sure. I mean, that appeals to me, that kind of idea. But I thought it was quite a fun way of doing it, so I thought maybe we'll do something like that at some point. Maybe do a really long one on a Sunday. I have this idea called Slow Draw Sundays, which I wanted to try in winter. Like, well, winter over here. I'm always talking about where I live, but obviously it might be different where you are. But Slow Draw Sundays, the idea being that you just kind of chill out in the afternoon on a Sunday, and it's just some relaxing music, kind of like going to like a nice coffee shop or something, and we'll do some. That's what it is. Pressing something. Okay. Yeah. So slow draw Sundays would be a relaxing way of maybe doing a little bit of painting, joining in, and maybe we could do a little tour of a town somewhere and stop, sketch for a little bit. Little timer pops up on screen. Go to the next place. Little tea break. Do it over a couple of hours. Yeah, let me know if you'd be keen. I think it'll be fun. Oops. Anatomy of my slug hands going out the window. If you've got any ideas for things for slow draw Sundays, that would be cool. But yeah, what I was saying about leaving you with something, I think it's a really wicked idea that in today's day and age, you're like, do you know what? I want to go somewhere and feel like I'm there. Um, we can just hop on the internet, even though we're always connected nowadays, and just see like this new area and kind of almost pretend you're there. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but oops, I play golf and I like going to the simulators, especially in winter, because when it's bleak and dark here, I can go and there's a big screen and the heaters are on, and I can be like, I'm going to pick this course in Dominican Republic or Mexico or California, and I can almost imagine get myself like a margarita from the bar. I can almost imagine that I'm in a warmer place. It does. It's great. So I implore you to try it. It's good fun. Okay, I'm going to try and keep that hat in front. Oh, that's not working. That's a bit naughty. Whose idea was it to draw a slug, huh? Weird. Oops. We shall see how that goes. Okay, thank you, everybody. I'm gonna call it. Actually, no, we'll do one more frame. One more frame, because then we've done this little sequence. See how this is getting kind of messy now? So I just need to pull that down a little bit. And then with my onion skin, drop that in opacity. This one needs to be a little bit higher because this is we're going on model now, so we kind of need to wrestle it back a little bit. I've gone all over the place with this, but hey, does anybody know a good logo designer? I'm thinking of tweaking my Adams Animation Academy logo. I mean, I don't have loads of funds, so they're going to have to work with me. But I would be interested. Or just some cool logo ideas. Or maybe you do a bit of logo design. Maybe you've got an idea. I will pay some funds for it. But yeah, I don't have loads of money to get like a top designer to do me some sketches and that kind of thing, you know. I need some ideas. I kind of want to sit down with somebody and go, yeah, cool. Here we go. This is going to be a bit of fun. Because we are going for a little brand refresh. This bottom line is going to be wobbly as you like, but nobody's going to be looking at this. There's a loose line. And sometimes even if it's like not how I want to draw it, like there's hands there, don't really mind because as long as I've got a shape in, I can change it later. That hat is a shocker, so I'm going to go backwards a little bit. Let's go with and what you're hopefully witnessing here is me breaking the rust off my 2D animation skills. I'm hoping over time, because I don't draw lots of hand-drawn animation, I'm hoping obviously to loosen myself up a little bit in the process of documenting it for you to see as well. Maybe it's going to help you feel like you can do the same. Mouth looks like to me needs to come actually. Yeah, that's erase it. And I just move this up a little bit because it feels like it's dropped and then it comes back up, and that's an easy one to correct the arc. I am going to overlap it over here because why not? Gives it a bit of depth. Not a fan of that one. Okay. This is why the animation desk was invented. So you can quickly quickly rotate things. I've got my iPad in a very fixed position today, so I have to move because of the connection to this computer for the streaming and stuff. But yeah, it means that I can't like swip it around. But I mean, the animation desk and the circle and stuff are the disc. It's just the dream in terms of ease of use. Because you don't even have to think, like your brain doesn't go into that like logic mode. You just put your finger in the or your thumb in the little hole, spin it around. So this one is coming from this hand. Boop, boop. So it's coming from down here. Maybe we sort of hint at what's going on here. Boink. That's fun. Okay, this is going to look really weird when I play it. Let's make it full screen. I wonder how you flip. Is it 4 fingers? No, it's definitely not 4 fingers. 3 fingers. Ah, there we go. I like how that mouth is going all over the place. That's fun. And it doesn't like. I mean, it's anatomically kind of weird, but I'm going to make that thing work. The general mechanics and the process and where it's going through, like the up here and then across and backwards and forwards. That's okay. Nice. Okay. Now I am going to end the stream. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I'm just going to move this off to the one side. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining. It's been really nice to see everybody. I will go to my... Oh, no, I'll keep myself down here in the bottom corner. Quick reminder, we do character rigging live on Tuesdays, where I am rigging a character in Toon Boom, and the previous ones are on a playlist ready for you to watch. And then this one, Co-work Wednesdays, again at 2:00. I think we're all good for next week. Same place, same time. So thank you again, and I shall say goodbye. Have a great rest of the week and see you again. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.